Number one is more is not necessarily better. This is one that I actually learned pretty recently, and it only took me about 3 years of consistent training to figure this out. You don't need to be in the gym 3 hours at a time, 5, 6, 7 days a week to be seeing results. Focusing on quality over quantity is extremely important here. Yes, when you go into the gym, you need to be working hard. You need to make sure that each rep that you're doing, you're putting in your all. The sets are hard, you're progressing your exercises, things like that. One of my big goals was having defined biceps, muscular looking arms. So I thought, I'm just gonna go all in with, training arms. So I would literally have a 2-hour arm workout that I did every single week. And as soon as I cut that out, I actually saw better results. There is such a thing as overtraining. And trust me, I went down a slippery slope that I do not intend to go down again when I got injured and I was training way too much, way too often. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you stick around until I get to tip number 3, because that's gonna be the most important one here. But number 2, maybe a bit of an unpopular opinion, a bit controversial, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. You don't need to be tracking your calories and macros to see results. When I first started working out, I had MyFitnessPal, I was tracking my calories, I was making sure that I was hitting the specific amount that I needed to be, and it was extremely stressful. I did not end up following it. It is not sustainable long term. And a lot of times people are underreporting the amount of calories that they're eating, so it's not exactly 100% accurate. And I find it to be very stressful and just mentally exhausting of hey, I need to weigh out every single thing to the amount of oil I'm putting in my pan. I need to think about all this, and if you want to go out, it makes it hard, and it's just, I don't recommend. You can 100% achieve results and your goals without having to do this. Now, the only time that I would recommend tracking would be maybe for just 2 weeks to be able to get an idea of how many calories are actually in certain foods. It will kind of give you a good little baseline. But again, depending on your goal, if you're looking to lose fat, eating those low calorie dense foods, filling your body up with fiber, protein, things like that, that's gonna be great. If you want to just maintain a healthy weight and you want to put on muscle, making sure that you're eating your protein, you're having a good balance of everything, that's really all you need to be doing. We don't need to overcomplicate things. I found that when I kept it as simple as possible, that's when I actually started going places. Number 3 is mobility. Now, I learned this the hard way. Please don't make the same mistake that I made by neglecting mobility for so long until it finally caught up to me and I had to take a year off from the gym, and it was very, very, very bad. So take the time to really look at, okay, what are your imbalances? Where are your mobility issues? What needs to be fixed here? They will unfortunately catch up to you. You need to make sure that you do address your mobility issues. So if that means having a whole mobility day once a week where, on your rest day, you just do some mobility, you can even do it at home, do some drills. For example, I have really bad ankle mobility and hip mobility, so I work on that a lot at the start of each of my workouts. I just take 5-10 minutes at the start of my workouts to just really work on those issues. Same with my shoulder mobility for my upper body days. Just things like that can go a long way, because if you have a mobility issue over time, that's going to compound and compound, especially if it's right side versus the left side, one is taking over. That's eventually going to lead to injury and pain and things that you don't want down the road, which is going to prevent you from achieving your goals if you can't work out anyways. So it's not only about listening to your body, but it's actually about listening to your joints. If you've been putting a lot of stress and, straining your wrist, for example, or your knee or something like that, you need to give it time to heal. Do rehab, make sure that you're prioritizing that instead of just going in and upping the weight and lifting super heavy when it's a lot of stress on those joints. Speaking of mobility, I have a full body mobility routine that I have been sticking with for a long time, and it has helped me so much. So I'm gonna put that right up here. So check that out. I highly suggest you give it a try. You can even isolate, do the upper ones for the upper days and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I hope that you guys have a killer day. Bye.